Right. I can't remember my intro. Shit! Yo, what is happening, everybody, and welcome back to the Chat Down podcast. If you are listening for the first time, thank you for joining us. And if you are returning from the old crew, from the old group that used to listen to the podcast before, welcome back. You can now find all of the Chat Down podcasts on Scott K Official. All links will be in the description. And yeah, we have no Fraser Beam. Unfortunately, Fraser didn't want to join me on this journey. But today we are going to be joined by somebody that has been on a different kind of journey with me since I last left the Chat Down podcast. It has been a minute since I've done this. So if this goes to shit, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, so I just want to introduce you all to the main man behind every song that I have ever made, who helps me with way more than meets the eye. And that man is NG. So how you doing, bro? You good?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's been a bumpy couple of months, but we're there. We're finally back at it, making content.
Yeah, man, we're here. Yeah.
Doing what we need to do. So for those that don't know, obviously once I left the Chat Down podcast last time, I pursued a career in music, shall we say. And I was introduced to NG through a couple of artist friends that have been on the podcast before, who engineered everything I've ever done. I don't think I've done anything to do with music without you, have I?
No,
No, not a single song. I think every song's been with you.
Yeah, literally every single one.
Yeah. But yeah, so normally we have music artists on here, we go through life stories, but you know, there is always a team behind the people that create this music, and that's what this episode's about, just getting nitty gritty and into the behind the scenes of what goes on, making all these cool songs that you've been hearing from myself, Rhythm Root and Seawood. So just a question before we get into your story. Before we get into who NG is, what was it like the first time I walked into the studio?
The first time you walked into the studio, I can't lie, bro. I didn't know what to expect in it because was it Rue? I think Rue put me onto you.
Yeah.
I think it was Rue. So I didn't really know what to expect because obviously when I record someone new, I'll ask them what type of music do you do or whatever. I didn't really get any of that.
Yeah, bro, I still don't know what type of music I'm recording now.
Yeah, normally I vet people a little bit, but obviously I didn't get to do any of that. So it was just, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
You're eager to go, like, yeah, and I was pleasantly surprised, man.
I think it was a very quick turnaround, wasn't it? I think, obviously,
Yeah.
Ruud made the introduction. I think he gave me your details, and within like a week, we were in studio.
Literally, like, maybe even less than that, I think it was less than that.
Because I remember when I wrote that song, so for those that don't know, I'm talking about Pull Up, the first song I ever made. When I wrote that, I only wrote that as a dare, as kind of I got called out, so to say. So do you remember when Seawood did the No More challenge?
Yeah.
So basically, I was encouraging people to enter this challenge for him because obviously I'd had him on the podcast and done stuff with him before. Obviously, I started making music. And basically he turned around and were like, instead of encouraging people to do it, why don't you just do it yourself? So I'm like, all right, bet. He does. So obviously I did this. It were crap. It were like the worst 16 bar I've ever written in my life.
Yeah. Was it the one on the drill beat? It was like a drill beat.
No, I can't even remember which one it was, but I don't think anyone's seen it since that challenge because it was that bad. But he liked it, and he were like, "Oh, you should record a song." So then Rhythm Roo were like, "Yeah, you need to do it. You need to do this." And I ripped Pull Up within like 4 hours. And then obviously met you, did what we did.
Oh no, I know the song. Pull up.
Yeah, so that's the first one we did. The second one was Warning Shot with that was the drill beat.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, I come into you at a studio. You work your magic. To me, it's just working magic. I don't understand what you're doing. I just sit there and go, you do you, because I do not know what this is. Yeah. But how do you even know that that's something you want to do? Like, was this something that you'd wanted to do from childhood? Did you always have a passion for it, or did you just accidentally end up doing this kind of stuff?
I feel like, well, since young, like I'd think like 6, maybe 5, 6, 7, I started playing instruments.
Okay.
So I think I started with the guitar. I got guitar lessons in school, which like a lot of kids do in primary schools. And then I did that until high school. So I was like 12, 13, but that's when I was in like the music rooms. You know, you have like music rooms in high school. It was like every break, every lunchtime. Like I wasn't out like at the dinner table. I was just in the music room using Logic Pro 10 or Logic or whatever it was in that year, like 2013. So yeah, I think I just became obsessed with it as soon as I got on the computer in school, making beats, like making compositions. I just fell in love with it instantly. But I think I've always had like a musical inclination since young, like 6, 7 years old.
You can tell within the work that you do. So obviously, I'm gonna put it straight on you right now. But a lot of people don't know this, but NG can sing and he can write.
For real.
You know. So what song were it now? I recorded a song which has got some harmonies in the background. Everyone thinks that's me. It wasn't me at all.
Yeah, was it a country song? Or
it was one that were like a Coldplay song, but I don't think I ever released it.
Yeah.
So we never released it, but that's why I wanted to ask that question, because I know a lot of people, especially within the rap scene, they start off writing music themselves and trying to become a rapper, and then they find themselves falling in love with the actual process of making a song rather than the actual releasing and doing all the live stuff after. So I was just wondering if it were anything to do with that, because obviously we've never had these conversations in person. So
mine wasn't like that at all. I literally just fell in love with the production side. That was it for me.
Because I think it's obviously one thing that's like very important is, to me, that is the hardest part of creating a song, and like you guys that are in the studio doing the hard work don't get enough credit. Compared to the artists that will come in, sometimes they'll just do some mumble rap and then they're the top 10 Billboard, and you're like, I didn't even know what he said. But normally it's because of the production behind it and like the beats and how it's put together that actually makes that song what it is. But yeah, so obviously you mentioned in there that obviously at a very young age you started getting into music. So first off, where did you actually grow up? Where are you actually from?
I grew up in Gilderson, which is a small town in Morley.
Okay.
Like South Leeds. Near the White Rose, isn't it? Like near the White Rose.
Yeah. So obviously I'm a Leeds boy myself from Armley. So I know
Armley boys. Yes, man.
But yeah, so obviously like high school, good? Like, did you go to a good high school? Was high school, good time? Was it?
I'm not gonna lie and say I was like some misbehaved, crazy nutter kid in it. Like, I was well behaved in school. Yeah.
That's
to myself.
That's refreshing to hear for once.
I was well behaved. Well behaved.
Well, it's really good to hear that. Obviously, somebody from similar area to where I'm from, obviously has ended up doing what you do, but we're not going to go on that. We'll speak about that a bit later. So obviously primary school, all the way through. Okay, high school. Did you come across any adversities in high school, or was it just plain sailing all the way through?
What do you mean adversities? Any adversities?
So my kind of thinking behind this question is obviously when I was younger. I mean, I am a bit older than you, so going back to Stone Age when I'm talking. But somebody that was in the music room a lot and wasn't really socializing and doing the social norms, so to say. Sometimes there does come a little bit of I don't want to say bullying because I think bullying is the wrong word, but
Yeah.
sometimes things can be a bit more difficult, especially around social situations, because obviously you're not involved in them as much, or you might have been.
No, to be fair, I'm not like socially as well. Like I was good. Like I don't want to say I was popular in it. Like I wasn't like popular, but I
Yeah.
got along with everyone. I didn't really have any issues with people. Yeah, I wasn't really struggling on the social side, if I'm honest. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty lucky to be fair.
Yeah.
Pretty lucky.
Well, I mean, all smart,
Yeah.
whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so obviously, you leave in high school. Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to college. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What did you study at college?
I did music technology,
Oh, so
business,
literally, yeah.
business and sociology, which it was hard. It was like college was hard. I think that's where I probably met the most adversity
Okay.
in college. Yeah, I'd say with the stress of it all. Yeah, I think that was probably where it was the worst.
Yeah, I always get really interested with people's college stories. So I never got the experience of going to college. Um, Obviously, I didn't finish high school. So, like, what is college like? What you see on TV? This whole
Uh, what like
partying
kind of
and
like in betweeners, like in between
yeah,
us,
yeah.
kinda.
Because
Uh, I mean, it depends the college you go to. My college, I mean, I'm not gonna name it. I'm not gonna name the college because it was just like extremely like extreme, and they treat you like I don't even know, you're in some sort of war camp. It was very like the dress code was very strict. They were
yeah,
just yeah, it was very just it was shit.
yeah,
I would no, I wouldn't have gone in hindsight. I would have just left at
yeah.
16. I
So
mean,
whatever
it was yeah.
whatever college you are, there's no shout out for you today.
Yeah, fuck that college. People that know me know what college it is. Fuck that college.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, fuck that.
I mean, obviously, I'm assuming you must have learned something from.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Yeah, college was a good place and probably the first initial place that I networked
Okay.
because there was a lot of people who were actually like rapping. Yeah, one of the first guys I recorded he's called Blank Dot now. He's doing really well. Shout out to him. Yeah, he was like the first person I ever recorded. I used to record him again, like in the lunch on my free periods, lunch breaks. I'd be in the studio in the school, in the college, recording him. That's so I kind of got a grasp with recording people. I was showing people my beats, so it was good to network. It was really good to network at college.
Oh, brilliant! So obviously, networking is probably one of the most important parts of
Yeah,
especially
100%.
what you do, because it's very customer based. So I'm assuming that's why you studied business as well. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
I
kind
mean,
of
I've
go
always
hand
had
in
a knack for
hand.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does go hand in hand. I've always had like a love for like business. So yeah, I thought, why not? Why not study that as well?
So you go through college, you get to the end of college. Most people, let's be honest, still don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, literally.
From the sound of things, you had quite a solid plan in mind through coming out of college. Would you say that once you left college that plan kind of took off straight away how you wanted it to, or was the barriers in the way, was the things that you had to overcome to be able to pursue what you now call a career?
Yeah. So I was really, really 50-50 with if I wanted to go to uni
Yeah.
and study music production or music business or whatever the course is called. Like I remember one day, I think it was called UCAS or something. That's what you used to like fill out the university
Yeah.
application forms. I had it filled out and I was gonna submit it, but then I had something in me. I don't know. It was like a gut feeling. I was just like, yo, I can't go to uni and waste 4 years when I could really just go all out at this for 4 years and see what happens. And I remember having this teacher, I can't remember what she was called, but she was on my back. She was like, you need to submit the uniform, you need to do it. And I was just like, nah. And I'm so glad I never did. I'm so glad I never did. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously, like the look behind like that working out. Not only the look, but the dedication and hard work to actually make that happen.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, especially now with social media, a lot of people sleep on the hard work behind something like that. You spoke about networking. We met because of networking.
Yeah, literally,
The
literally.
we're going to get a bit more into this later on, but like the countless artists that you've probably worked with just by putting them little steps in at the beginning
Yeah.
are massive, and that's obviously another reason why I think it's important that someone like you gets an opportunity to speak out about what you do, because there's so many people that were probably in the same position and chose not to, and
Yeah, they
chose
went to
to
uni.
fill that
Yeah.
university form out. So it's great. Obviously, I'm sat here looking at how it can turn out, but there is obviously the other side where it doesn't work out
Yeah.
for everybody. For myself, I was very fortunate that I had finance before I started doing music, or otherwise I'd have probably, I'm not going to
Yeah.
sugarcoat it, I'd have probably crashed out and not pursued it. But because I have that financial backing, it was easier to pursue it.
Yeah, as an artist, it is expensive, especially the start. It's expensive, bro. I mean, you're up north, so engineering time mixes, all that is generally cheaper. But if you're in London, bro, you've got engineers that are charging like £100 an hour, £300 a mix. Like it's crazy. It must be crazy for them guys.
Well, you've just mentioned London, so that's a good time to obviously bring that in. I didn't know this until obviously you told me, but you do work with quite a lot of people,
Yeah, a lot of
and
people, bro.
you
I
seem
don't.
to
Yeah.
travel. Obviously, when we spoke about this, you were going down to London to work with various different people. So, talking around studios and working within a studio environment, is there anything that's like part of your day-to-day work that you kind of wasn't expecting when you got into this?
Ooh. Ooh, like something I do every day that I didn't never thought I would
Yeah,
do.
because everybody has a perception of what they think something looks like.
Mhm.
So an example for me would be making this podcast. I thought it would be flawless. There'd never be a problem with cameras, microphones.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
thought it'd
Oh,
be
I get you. I
easy.
get you.
But the
Yeah.
amount of issues I have to deal with before setting this up sometimes, because it's on the cheap at the moment, you don't think about these things when you're doing it or getting ready
Yeah,
to do
you
it.
know, one of the main things I would say, yeah, is I never realized how much people would vent in. This is a huge thing that's not talked about a lot in music, yeah, especially as engineers, artists. A lot of artists see this as like therapy. Like genuinely, a lot of people do this, and they feel better for it. It gets a lot off the chest, and I never thought some of the stories and problems I hear about. I never. It's almost like I'm a therapist, bro. I'll be so real. Like, I never thought there'd be that side of the job. I thought people would come in, might be like one or two issues with people, which I've had before. That's another thing we'll talk about. But just how much it's like being a therapist, bro. Honestly, like people really let the feelings out and stuff because you're in a room. It's just you two. Yeah, that's one thing I never thought would be a
Yeah.
part of this job.
Well, from the artist perspective, like
Mm,
I've said some things to you in that studio that nobody's ever heard,
mm. Yeah,
because
this is exactly
it is that whole, yes,
like vulnerability.
yes, you're there. Let's not sugarcoat it. It is a business transaction to start off with. That's how it
Yeah,
starts off
of
with.
course.
It starts off as a business transaction, but once you're in that room and you're releasing your emotions on the mic or however you're doing it, and you might not even realize you're doing this, but because you're showing so much interest into what they're saying on the microphone,
Mm,
it enables people to feel like they can talk to you off the microphone as well,
yeah, yeah.
which I think helps with relationship building as well. So, for example, when I come and sit in that studio with you, whilst you're doing your mixing and stuff at the end, we will normally just talk about the most randomest stuff ever.
Yeah, we'll just chat. That's what I'm on about. Like, even out of the studio, like you say, like people message me, they might have a problem or something. Like, I never thought there'd be that side to it.
Yeah. I think it's down to, people are trusting you with their art. So
yeah, 100%.
They're also, it shows that you're a trustworthy person. Because you have so much stuff that you could easily just be like, let's put that on the internet. But you don't.
Yeah, bro.
And there is people out there.
Best police informant ever. Best police informant ever, bro. It's crazy.
But there is people out there that would do that just to get themselves a little bit further up than everyone else.
Yeah, 100%.
So no, yeah. So you've just mentioned it. But before I ask you that question, I'm going to ask you, what is your favourite moment you've ever had in the studio?
Favourite moment? Oh my God. Bro, there's been so many amazing moments. I honestly can't put it down to one. Like, every day is just amazing, man. Like, the vibe, like, getting to record what I'd call friends. All the people I record are my friends. Making a full-time income off of it. Just every day, man, it's amazing. Like, the vibe, the energy in the room, it's just great. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say a moment, but just the feeling of having my own studio and thinking about where I came from, that's just...
Yeah.
Like, I started from not rock bottom, but, like, very bare bones setup, and now I have, like, just this. That's an amazing feeling, man.
Yeah, so, obviously, like, that's a good answer, a really good answer. But, you guys can see now the room that NG's in, it's very well lit. And trust me, I've been in it, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's nice.
It is so nice. But I want you to now paint that picture of what it was like at the beginning. You set up how you was recording these artists, because I could tell you right now, I've got a laptop here, a phone dangling off of a windscreen holder. Yeah, I'm not joking. A microphone, and I've got crystals behind me. Like,
yeah,
that's bare bones. Like, I've got nothing that's professional, I'd say. I walk into that room that you're in now, I think professional. This is insanely good. Like, it's beautiful. You're walking out with a good product.
Yeah.
But how did it start? What did that look like?
Oh my God. So the first studio I had, right, was it was in my dad rented a house because my mum and dad are separated, so he rented a house in Gildersome. It was like a bunch of terrace houses.
Yeah.
And he was never there, so I basically just used it as a studio. Like, I just used the room as a studio, and it was like a bed in this small room, this like little ghetto desk with like a glass top on it. I had my MacBook. I had 2 KRK Rocket 5s, which is like super basic speakers, and then I had this like a wardrobe. I just turned that into a studio, like a recording booth.
Yeah.
It was so shit. Like, for the producers watching this year, I used to have to, so after recording, I used to have to go into my settings and change my audio output every single time. Like, it was terrible. It was so bad. Like, you'd record something, and then I'd have to go into my settings, change it back to whatever, just to hear it back. It was so bad.
I have to do that now.
Yeah, it was so bare bones, man. It was.
But does any part of you miss them moments, like, being in that, let's say, budget friendly setup, and them raw moments? Like, do you miss any of that?
Yeah, I do miss it, man. I do. Like, some of the people I record today, so like DU, there's a guy called 26 or Van Cease. Them guys recorded with me back then. This is like 2018. They still record with me now, and it's like, they say, "Oh my God, do you remember when we were recording in that house?" And like, getting complaints from the neighbours. All that. It's just crazy, man. Like, it's just funny, man. Like, I do miss it, man.
That must feel good though, being able to look back on them moments and then looking at where you are now, and being able to obviously kind of relive it. It's pretty cool that you're still working with people that obviously you worked with at the beginning, because the one thing that I've realised through this music stuff is people do not stick around.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of I don't want to say, but there's a lot of competition in this space, and people will do anything to get one over on you and kind of be seen as a better version than you are.
Yeah, it's a dirty game, bro. It's a dirty game.
So
dirty game.
It's really good to hear that you're still working with artists from, back when you first started, because that is kind of rare. Only person I've heard of doing that apart from that's Post Malone, but he's my idol. So
he's too good, man. He's too good.
Yeah, he's is.
Class.
So obviously, we've gone through some good stories. Obviously, people are gonna want to hear it. They're gonna want to hear. Can you give me some stories that, to this day still probably piss you off from the studio?
Oh my god! I'll start with a funny one first, and then I'll go into some really deep shit after. Yeah. So one time I was in a fucking studio session with this guy. I won't name him, innit? Bro, I was like, we're starting a session. He comes in, he takes his shoes off. I'm like, okay. This is in LS9, Mabgate, and bro, he takes his shoes off. Then he takes his socks off. I'm like, bro, what the fuck, bro? Then he backs out a nail clipper. Bro, he starts clipping his toenails in the back of the... And I'm like, nah. Bro, that was just weird. Yeah. I don't dislike the guy, but that was crazy when that happened. I was like, what the fuck?
Now, didn't you say anything? Or was it just a very awkward situation?
I just looked at it, I was like, what? I mean, I think I was only 18 at the time. 17, 18. I was like, what the fuck? I was just like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Oh, so any stories kind of where you've ever had to kick anyone out, or that first? Have you ever had to kick anyone out?
No, bro. Yeah, I've had some fucked up situation with studios, a new concept in LS9.
Yeah.
I did a session for this guy, and it was just him in it. It was just him, but bro, all these people came in, bro. These men were out, tooled up, machetes, it was mad, bro. And they brought a dog in at one point. And bro, they didn't wreck the place. They fucked the place up, innit?
Yeah.
They fucked the place up, and that got me kicked out of that studio, innit? So yeah, I mean, I'm allowed to go back to the actual studio, new concept. I'm cool with the owner, Sam, but I can't have a room there, bro. I can't have a room there. I'm allowed in, but I can't have a room there because of that. But that's just because I was young. I think I was 17, 18, I can't remember. And obviously the type of clientele I had at the time, bro, just them type of people in it. Just
people been watching too many Death Row videos. That's what that is.
Yeah. But obviously, I understand the owner's standpoint on it. Because he doesn't want to deal with shit like that. Obviously, I'm a lot older now. I have different clientele, or I'm very close with all the people recording it. So I understand why he kicked me out. I don't hold anything against him.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, realistically, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
Yeah,
You're not going to sit there and be like, "Yo, boys, you need to get out," because then that could turn very south for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's one of them situations, anyway. You kind of I've just got to grit my teeth and deal with whatever the outcome is here. No, it's obviously that's a lot of stuff you see more on TV. But some people, I've got friends that do this music thing now, and they think the bloody movie stars just because and when they're in these studios, and I'm like, I get it, feel like you need to make sure you feel like you are number one, because you can't ever be number one if you don't think you're number one. But
true.
One, have a bit of respect for where you are, and two, you're still a person. You're still just you. Just be you. Don't act like you're this big gangster from, any situations where you've had to kind of have altercations with people? Again, don't give names. I don't want them to.
I think last year, it might have been last year. Oh no, the year before. I did a session for my boy, and he came with a few people, and they started fighting.
Yeah.
Like they started proper fighting, like in not in the studio, you know, like in the like the common area, like the kitchen.
Yeah.
They started proper fighting. So I went out of the room and said, you need to get the fuck out. Like I told them. I think that was probably one of the first times I kicked someone out.
Yeah.
I just said to them like, you lot get the fuck out. And you know what, they were pretty respectful. They were like, yeah, we need to go, because it was just two of them fighting. The other lot were like trying to split them up, like saying, oh, like, yo, you're disrespecting NG, this and that. But yeah, I said to them like, you guys need to get the fuck out, and they left.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say that's the only time I ever had to kick someone out, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, anyone would. I mean, that's just true.
Yeah,
But obviously, you know, that's the thing though. Most people kind of do, like, you know, it's because you are that guy that's making their bread and butter at the end of the day. Like, you're the guy that's making what they're wanting to come together, or like friends stuff come together. So how can they not? They have to kind of treat you with that respect, because you are the guy that's making this other person's, we'll say, dreams come true. So obviously, for myself, what you do is a mystery. I'm not, like I said at the beginning, I am not going to sit here and pretend I understand it at all. But there will be people that are either looking at getting into mixing, mastering, engineering, all that stuff. If you could give anybody a piece of advice, you know, of how they can do what you do, if that's what they're looking at doing, what would you say to that person?
The biggest thing I would say is get in the studio, because shout out to Motion. Motion is a producer from Leeds. He's huge. I wouldn't say he put me on, but like in a sense of like, give me everything I need. But like, he let me use his studio. He showed me how to do certain things. And I've just got like eternal gratitude to that guy. Like, honestly, without him, I don't know where I would be, because I met him again through networking. I went to a session with an artist called, I don't know if he still makes music, but he was called Selly. And he was like one of the first ever people to buy my beats, listen to my beats, because that's how I started out. And I went to his session, I met Motion, and through their networking, that's when I started using that room, doing sessions. So the biggest tip I would say is just make sure you're in a studio with a producer, and just almost shadow and just try to learn, just chat to them, and just start. The second thing, just start. You don't need to spend a load of money. You could just get a second-hand computer, get FL Studio, or if you get a MacBook, get Logic, and just start, just mess around, just play with it, and you'll pick it up quick enough. And if you truly love it, you will keep learning it. You'll keep learning it.
Yeah, so I think obviously that is. I think I've spoke to you about that. I don't know if I have. But one of the things I wanted to learn how to make beats, because through obviously recording music, my biggest bugbear is how expensive it is to buy beats these days.
Yeah.
You know, I understand why, because there is a lot of people that will just download a beat and release it, you know,
just steal it,
and steal that person's work. But I'm like the song I'm currently writing now, which I don't think I've shown you this one.
No, you're not.
But the beat is £200 just for the beat.
What, for the lease?
£200, yeah. I mean, it's an unlimited license, but £200, and I'm like, you know, is it worth? Obviously, because I understand that, it's unlimited, and I understand what that unlimited license can do for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of them. So you started off when I met you. You was in Armley. I think the studio was in Armley. Yeah. So the in Armley, and then you moved to. I'll never forget this. So you were in Lincoln Green.
Yeah.
And then
wait, where did I?
You was at the one. You were somewhere in. It were near town. It were near Leeds town centre. It was next to Lincoln
the new
Green
concept
Flats. Yes.
Yeah, new concept. Yeah.
And there's a reason why I'm going through this. So, first off, what made you move to Wakefield? Because that obviously is
what made me
where,
move to Wakefield?
Yeah, and two, why did you choose to move to Wakefield when I moved back to Leeds?
Bro, that's just coincidental. Well, the reason I moved to Wakefield, I'm not gonna lie, in Leeds, there isn't any studios. And there's nothing really for producers, really. So
Okay.
obviously there's new concept studios, but obviously I'm not allowed to have a room there, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm friends with, shout out to these other guys as well. Sluggy Beats, Roman, ZT, Charlie Beck. I met these guys obviously for networking, because I knew Roman initially, but he put me onto all these guys.
Yeah.
And they originally had a studio in Ossett, but they told me, we're moving out of the Ossett one. We're going to get a spot at Tile Yard, which is where we are now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened at such a perfect time that I was leaving New Concept, that I heard about these guys getting this room. So that's why I came here. And Wakefield, because I mean, this place is backed by the council, is Tile Yard.
Okay.
So it's just more opportunities, better. It's the best place like I've been music wise. Like, it's really good.
I mean, it's a nice area as well, like where it is.
Very good.
And the reason I was asking that question is because obviously, you know, when you think of Leeds, it is quite a musically rich city.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just wondering, obviously, if it's the same for like engineers and stuff that are working out of Leeds, rather if it's different depending on the area you work with. I'm assuming obviously the clientele might change, obviously depending on location.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm lucky enough that most of my clients, like 99% of them, if not all of them, have travel, like don't mind traveling for the sessions. Well, I mean, it's not really that far anyway, so
no, and it's in a very, very easy to find location, which is really good. I need to just apologise because I didn't put them jigsaw pieces together, what you'd said before. I didn't realise that the new concept studio was the one that was in...
LS9,
yeah, I didn't realise that's where it was. So, because obviously I knew that the one in Armley had Rapperware on it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I never paid attention to that kind of stuff when I come to the other one. We obviously just got in there, did his work, and I went. So no, I didn't realise that. Because there were quite a lot of different stuff in there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a lot of. I think it's mainly, obviously Motion. My guy Motion, he has, I think him and maybe one other engineers in that building.
Yeah.
I think it's mainly just like, graphic designers, DJs. Obviously people that don't have clientele coming in and out, which is obviously ideal for the owner. That's what he wants, I would assume, because that is less hassle for him. So yeah, I think that's what that building is now. There's like one or two engineers and it's all just creatives. Yeah, it's really good.
No, that's Well, I mean, it were a nightmare. It were terrifying getting there because you obviously I come up bus and walked, and you walk through the weirdest alleyways and stuff ever to get to that studio, and you're walking through.
What's the name?
It's Lincoln Green, isn't it?
Lincoln Green, yeah. Woo.
So I know Lincoln Green Flats are just over the road, because I remember when you first told me about the studio, and I walked on, I thought, I swear I've got some people around here that really don't like me.
Yeah, but it's
I actually got the area wrong, but I still shit myself.
Vermontoff's Lincoln Green, yes.
Yeah. So obviously, I want to go back to that studio, and the reason I want to talk about that studio is because one of the things that I noticed, which absolutely fried my brain, was how loud the room next door to you was. But yet, when we was recording, it never got picked up on the microphone.
You're on about TS7, the bassline producer.
Yeah, it never ever got picked up.
Man. He's cold. TS7 is cold. Yeah.
Like
It was so loud.
It was so loud, but it never got picked up. Never got picked up on the microphone.
A little bit, but it obviously through processing and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
you don't hear it. You don't hear it.
So like I think the question I'm wanting to ask is, so does it matter what kind of equipment you do have? Now I know that of course to some extent, yes, of course it's going to matter. You pay for more expensive stuff, you're going to get better quality. But is there kind of, this is more for people that are trying to, start out or are wanting to purchase this equipment but not sure where to go. Is there like a level that you kind of should look towards going to, rather than buying the most expensive thing straight away or the cheapest thing straight away?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's necessarily like a minimum spend because some people are making songs on BandLab on the phone and that shit's getting on the billboard.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily. If you're trying to go for a very studio ready, polished sound, I mean, you probably want to spend like, I don't even know, 150 on a mic, £100, 150 on a mic minimum.
Oh.
Maybe like a Rode NT1A, something like that. That's yeah. But in terms of the computer and the speakers, that doesn't really matter. That doesn't matter at all. You don't even need an expensive mic, really. You really don't. Yeah.
So it's more about like kind of what you guys do with that sound once you've got it.
But obviously, the better the recording and the better the mic, the easier it is and the better it's going to sound.
Yeah, because I think you've had, since I've started working with you, I think there's been 3 different mics.
Yeah,
I
used
to
have an Aston Spirit.
Yeah.
Aston Spirit, that's a great mic and it's not expensive as well. I think it's like £200.
But one of the first things that I told my my current partner now, who I told about like how mad it is that you can hear all this stuff around you, and then you don't, because I find it such a, even now after I've been working with you for such a long time, I still find that moment of like walking through the door into the studio. One, I still find it really scary.
Or like how quiet it is.
No, just like the whole doing the actual but then when you put them headphones on, you hear nothing other than what's coming through that microphone.
Yeah.
Even though you're walking in this building, you're anxious, you're feeling a little bit like and you can hear stuff going on all around you, so that gets your senses going and all the rest of it. But then as soon as you put them headphones on, it's like you're in a different place. So I obviously I've spoke to her quite a lot about you and the studio and obviously the work that we've done and stuff, because she's very interested in what this all is.
Nah, it's like you've got a good woman, man. It's
like a breath of fresh air, I'll tell you that, mate.
It's good to have a good one.
It is, especially one that supports what you want to do.
100%.
The reason why we got back together and did the song that we have just recently recorded, which, just a quick plug, is out on the 13th of this month. Pre-save it, link will be in the description.
She pushed you to do that.
Yeah, she encouraged me to actually start singing. I know you've already worked with me on like some singing songs, but not a lot of people have seen or heard them. It's more, I think I did one of them at my live show. But apart from you and my missus and my mum, nobody's really heard them. So, the song that we made, that Rise Up, is about me rising up and actually doing what I want to do rather than what I feel like I have to do. Yeah. But I think the reason that I bring this up as well is, when I first met you, so this is a new story for you because you have not heard this. When I was first told about NG, I thought I was going to walk into a room and I was going to have this scary, you need to do this, you need to do that, like this is how you should be doing it person. Complete opposite. You introduced yourself to me straight away. You were so polite from the get-go.
That's it, bro. Thank you. That's refreshing hearing that.
But the problem was, I just rapped, and like for the first couple of sessions, I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to impress you more than anything. Like in my back of my mind, I was like, oh, I need to impress this guy. But then as I got to know you a bit more, that's when I started doing the singing. And I think the first singing one we did was the Unforgettable cover.
Yeah,
That was the first one we did. So we did that, and I remember I was saying to you, I were in the booth and you was outside. Obviously, we were in the Rapware studio, and I remember saying to you like, "Oh, I don't know if this is gonna work," and I sung it, and you literally just went, "Yeah, nah, record that." I remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday. Because that were the moment. Like you won't know this, and this is kind of me just giving you your flowers a little bit. From that moment, it made me realise that if I want to sing, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sing, because nobody else can tell me that I can't. Because the one person that I'm trusting with my art is saying, "Yeah, do that." It kind of encouraged me to do it more, and then obviously, you know, you've got my partner who now encourages me and stuff like that. So, no, I just wanted to give you flowers on that.
Man. No, thank you. I'm glad, man. I'm so glad.
And yeah, obviously we've got some more work to do.
Definitely.
I am currently writing a little EP, so that's something to look forward to. Obviously, when we get to there. So, but I'm not going to tell anyone on here about that, but I'll share that with you privately. But I do have a question for you. And, you know, I've known you, say, 2 years now, innit? Yeah, about 2 years I've known you now.
About 2 years.
It's my first album's 2-year anniversary today. So it's been over 2 years, yeah. Which is really funny because I've took them all off Spotify. But, yeah, it was a 2-year thing today. So I've known you about 2.5 years, but have you ever thought about, you know, you have all these connections to these different artists. Have you ever thought about putting on a show?
What, like having my own show?
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I have thought about it, and people have said to me like, a lot of the artists that I do record, I could book a venue, I could obviously DJ and just have them all perform. I have thought about that before, you know. I've had people say, why don't you do that?
So this were a thought I had very late last night. So obviously I knew that we were doing this today. And one of the thought processes that were going through my head is, I'm going to ask him if he's ever thought about putting on a show, because you have what I would say the perfect catalogue for that. You know, you have all the connections, which, bearing in mind, these connections are probably not just as artists. These are probably people that have done shows, so can help you with the actual process of putting on a show. But yeah, no, I just always wondered, like, why?
No, yeah, I have thought about it.
Is there anything particular that's ever like stopped you doing it?
Maybe fear actually, you know. I'll be so real. Maybe just thinking, oh, what if like not enough people turn up? I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But when I actually logically think about it, like I think if I had all my friends that are artists, all them brought their friends, like it's gonna be like 100 people. Like there'd be so many people. Like it'd be crazy.
So I'm gonna try. As you know, I've done shows, so I know about the setting up of a show and etc. You have helped me throughout everything I've done. All my music, you've been supportive of everything I do. You know, as soon as I asked you about this podcast, you were the first person to be like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I managed to do a show with 0 connections. You know, the only other artist that performed was Riv and Roo. Obviously, both our friend. And I was disheartened that it wasn't a big turnout. But then the one thing that I can't remember what film it were on, but it was on a film and it really resonated with me. And this was just before I went on stage, and there was me and Ben, who was my DJ at the time. And I simply just turned around to him and I went, do you know what? Whether there is 1,000 people or one, I am going to perform to that person exactly the same as I would if there were 1,000, because they've paid to watch me.
Yeah, bro. What I've always said, yeah, if you've got even 1, 2, or 3 people that have paid to see you, bro. You've made it, bro. You've made it, right? Like you don't necessarily have to have a number one to make it. If you've got people that are paying to see you perform or to see your music, you've made it in my eyes. Like simple as that.
Yeah, so one of the things that obviously I do want to speak about that maybe you want to get involved with NG, but this is more of an announcement to obviously the people that are listening, is at the beginning of next year, SMK TV's Drop the Mic will be returning. I will be doing another live show. The only difference with this live show is all of the proceeds will be going to charity. The charity is to be confirmed. Obviously, we haven't confirmed the charity or the location of the event yet. However, this will not be original songs by myself. I will have some original artists there, and then I will be doing a bunch of covers from various different artists in order to make sure that we can pull as many people in and appease to a whole audience rather than just people that listen to our music. But the reason I'm bringing this up is if you guys listening are an artist or know of an artist that would like to get involved, please hit me up. The socials are just below me at Scott K Official. Hit me up and let me know, and then we can get the ball rolling. But yeah, that's so obviously if you want to get involved with that NG, that's something we can talk about off camera.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
But yeah, I tried doing one last year with a venue which I'm not going to mention because me and the owner do not get on, and they pulled the rug from under me, so it didn't happen.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why the last Drop the Mic didn't happen. And there is one more announcement I need to make, but I will make that at the end, just before we finish up. So I want to ask, have you got where do you see what you do going in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years. Woo! That is a good question, bro. That is a very good question. Obviously, I can see myself still earning full-time income, if not more. I do see myself, and I have pretty much started almost managing artists. Like, one thing I've noticed from this career is a lot of the people that come to me and record songs, that's all they know how to do. They don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to upload the songs through distributors. They don't know how to build a release plan. They don't know how to edit videos, make short form content. They don't really know how to brand themselves. So I've started doing that for a few artists. One of the main artists I do that for now is Izzy. I produce a lot of her songs. I deal with all of that side, like editing, uploading. I deal with all of that. So that's something I can see myself getting into a lot more in the next 5 years, I think.
Oh, well.
And more content, maybe tutorials, just helping other people just make a career out of this, really.
Well, I mean, you're on a flying start because you're already making an income that, people work jobs that they cannot stand. So, you're already winning. But that sounds. Yeah.
I am eternally grateful that I enjoy my job, and I don't even see my job as working, really. Like, it's just so fun.
Yeah. Obviously, you're saying it's fun, but I am assuming it does get to a point where it is very tiring. You spend from the outside looking in, you spend a lot of time in, a studio that can be pretty dark, in front of a screen. Like, does that have any kind of effect on you as a person, or do you kind of have that good? I mean, I'm assuming now you have that good balance, but were there ever a point where you didn't have that good balance between work life and making sure you're okay as a person?
Yeah. I mean, when I was like 18, 19, like coming up, like really trying to establish myself, like I didn't even do anything for those 2 summers. So you're like, when you're young, 18, 19, you have the summertime.
Yeah.
You'd think to be out with your friends, but I wasn't doing any of that. So I really had to sacrifice a lot, time-wise. But yeah, I've had times where you're just exhausted. Like I really limit myself to like 10 hours of studio time maximum a day of recording.
Yeah.
Because after that, it gets like very mentally tiring. You sat down a lot. So yeah, it's a very like a static job. So you've got to really balance it out. But yeah, that is something I struggled with at the start. Like I was doing sessions till like 6 a.m. So just I had to stop that because I can't do them late sessions. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, obviously, you know, we've spoke quite a lot about the, you know, how much of a great job it is, and let's not take that away. It is a fantastic job. You know, you've said multiple times you love what you do.
Yeah.
But there is still them moments, you know, just like everybody else, where you do have those crash outs. You do need to take a step back and think about you as a person. Before, you know, the one thing I want to do is I want to be able to do content, whatever that is, full time, because I am sick of working 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But I also appreciate that sometimes you've just got to do it. But yeah, no. So obviously, you mentioned earlier on that you make beats.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you say that process is different to what you do with an artist that comes in? Obviously, apart from the pre-existing beats, because like when I come in, I've already got a beat for you.
Yeah.
Is the work rate different? Is the workload different? Or is it just something you do for fun?
I mean, when I first started out, like when I was trying to establish myself, that's what I did. I made beats. That's how I like I say, I got into that session with Selly.
Yeah.
That was through sending beat. I was just making beats every day till like 3 a.m, like 5-6 beats a day or whatever it was. But I don't really I used to sell beats online. I don't really do that anymore. Like I don't really have the time for it. But it's more exclusive now. So I'll get artists in. I'll make the beat there for them. We'll make the song with them. So it is a completely different process. But in terms of the processing and like the mixing, it is very similar. It is all very similar. But it is different playing the chords, like punching the drums in. Yeah, that is a bit different to just the recording. The recording is a lot easier. Recording is it's easier, yeah.
No, well, I mean, obviously, first off, I want to say thank you for actually joining me today. You know,
come on, bro. How could I not, man? How could I not?
This has been obviously a very interesting conversation. Like, a lot of people won't believe, and no one ever believes me when I say this, right? But that's the first time I've heard a lot of that. Obviously, when I go to CNG, yes, we talk a lot, but it's normally about the present. But yeah, so like it's nice for myself as well as the people listening to actually get to know you more, and get to know you as a person. But before we finish off, I want to just ask you a question that I feel like I want to ask everybody just at the end. It's just a bit of a fun question. If you could listen to any artist, one artist for the rest of your life, who would you choose?
Party Next Door. Party Next Door. Not, I didn't even need to think
That
about
was,
that,
that
bro.
was, I mean, I would
Party Next Door, bro. The best R&B artist of all time. The best modern R&B artist of all time. Insane, bro. It's not even close.
Well, I'm not. I mean, that's that'll be the shortest clip ever.
Party Next Door, bro. If people don't know Party Next Door, know like the songs he's written, the beats he's produced, because he's kind of like me. Like he produces, engineers, writes everything. That's why I feel like I sympathize so much with him. Like Party Next Door is just amazing.
So I mean, do you know what? Yeah, I give an hour for these podcasts. But if it's okay with you, are we okay to just run over a little bit?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Fantastic.
I don't mind.
So, I need to ask this question now because it's just come to my mind with you obviously mentioning Party Next Door. Have you ever made a song of you? Have you ever got on a song?
Maybe I have, bro. Maybe I have.
Oh, you can't be leaving me like that.
Maybe that's something.
But yeah, man, listen, I want to be in every aspect of this shit now. Boxing, podcast, music, everything's happening now. Like, there's no stopping now. I've got a partner with me who supports everything I do. So, mate, I'm going top at food chain now, mate. That's where I'm going. I'm not sitting back here. I'm not sitting back here anymore and just waiting for other people to do the things that I want to do. I'm going to do them myself and get there. So, and obviously I'm hoping that you stick along for that journey, bro, and we can make some fucking bangers in that studio.
Crazy, bro. You called out from 2 guys.
Yeah, but I mean if none of them reply, I'm fucked. but yeah, so it is what it is.
But yeah, man. Crazy.
Obviously, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment. We will be eventually moving to in-person studio, so I will be inviting NG back for that in-person interview when we get a studio where we'll go a lot more in depth with stuff, mainly because we don't have all of this technology to deal with. So, that'll be within the next season, I'm hoping for. So, yeah, thank you all for listening. All of NG's socials will be in the description below. Make sure you hit my boy up if you have any questions about what we spoke about today. But don't pester him, he's a busy man. And I will we will catch you in the next one. And peace.